Good morning, Life Science students. Mr. Eaton here. As promised, I'm including with this video in your message a written outline for the alternate project, a multimedia journal that I am offering in lieu of the 250-point term paper, which is due at the end of the course. The journal will be due at the end of the course as well. And I mentioned in the outline, I'm in the process of setting up a Dropbox folder online, and I will send an invitation to each of you who choose to do this project. And then as you're doing the project, you can use it. You can save your project to the Dropbox folder. And inside the Dropbox folder, I will have a separate folder for each of you who decides to do the project with your name on it, so it'll be easy to tell which one is yours. And you can run the project, you can save it in that folder, and then when it's complete, that's where you'll submit it, and I'll pull it from the Dropbox folder. The outline that I'm giving you is in written form. It's a full page, so it'll tell you quite a bit about the project. In a synopsis, what this would be is an interactive journal using PowerPoint or Keynote, or if you have it available, iMovie. iMovie is available as a free download for Macintosh, but it's also, I believe, available. There is a version available for Windows-based machines as well. iMovie simply allows you to take video clips, photographs, stills, sound bites, you name it, sound files, and put them together in a sort of a movie form and save it, and it's a fairly compact file when it's done. Those are some of the alternatives. Now, as for the project itself, you begin with a written journal, which is simply notes that you'll be taking on lessons 2 through 8. I mentioned lessons 2 through 8. You can include lesson 1 if you choose. It's just that lesson 1 is more of an introduction, and I'm trying to make the project as manageable and as doable as possible. Write down, as you go through each lesson, 2 or 3 key concepts or ideas that really stand out for you in the chapter, in the lesson. Now, why do I say 2 or 3? There may be more. Some of you may have fewer, like you may only have 1 key concept out of a chapter. Most of our materials, most of the lesson materials we have, there are quite a few things that stand out for most people, and the problem is actually being selective. But if you can pick 2 or 3 things, that would be, let's say you picked 2 key concepts that stood out for you in, let's say you're doing the chapter on genetics, and you have 2 key concepts. One is the idea of heredity and how traits are passed on, dominant and recessive genes, and so on. The other might be some of the interesting things that you learn about, for example, DNA testing and the different methods of DNA testing that can identify a human being right down to the very person. Okay, there's 2 things right there. Well, if you're doing your journal and you're doing this for 7 lessons, lessons 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, that's 14 things that you'll be having in your presentation, and that's quite a lot. But the idea is, it's worth 250 points, so it is going to be an extensive project, but I think for those of you that like to be creative, that like to have creative ways of presenting your materials, this is one of those types of projects that would lend itself to that. Now, to finish this off, with your written journal, that would act also as the outline of your script. And from that, you'll create your slides if you're using PowerPoint or Keynote. And the only reason I mentioned Keynote is I happen to like Keynote a little better for some of the formats that are available in it. The transitions are a little smoother and they're a little more professional looking. They have some background themes that I really like in Keynote. And that's the reason that I mentioned that as a possibility as an alternate to PowerPoint, although PowerPoint is also an excellent program. As you put it together, you will create with links on each page to other slides that will be where you present most of the information about each concept. So you'd have a total of 8 slides to begin with, a title slide introducing the project, and then a single slide for each lesson. And on that single slide, you would have buttons that would then link to other slides that would tell the information you wanted to convey about those key concepts that really stood out for you. Okay, so that's the gist of the project. And recording, you can record voice in PowerPoint, you can record in Keynote. You can include those sound bites as separate files in iMovie. It's just an interesting way to do things. If you have questions, you can text me on my phone. You can email me anytime. If you want to talk face-to-face about it, send me a text, let me know a good time, and we can arrange to do FaceTime or Skype and talk together. But in any case, if you have questions, don't hesitate to send them to me. Please let me know no later than June 26th if you plan to do the project, so I can set up a separate folder for you in Dropbox. I'll set it up and it will be available to you. I'll send you an invite and that will be your link to that folder, and you can save your project and you can eventually upload the finished project to that folder on Dropbox, and that's how I'll pick it up. Okay, that's it for now. God bless. I hope this helps, and looking forward to hearing from you.